the spokesman for Combined Joint Task Force Operation Inherent Resolve, and he comes to us from Baghdad, Iraq. Before we get started, we'll quickly check our communications. Colonel Dillon, how do you hear us?
You describe ISIS as being on the verge of defeat. What happens next, both in Raqqa and more broadly in Syria, as far as the U.S. military role goes?
So first off, across the board in the Combined Joint Operations area, so in both Iraq and in Syria, we estimate the number of enemy forces that still remain to be about 6,500 enemy forces, ISIS forces. Specifically in Raqqa, with the number of those that have recently surrendered, we estimate there to be perhaps about 100 ISIS fighters that could remain in Raqqa. We have not seen much or heard of much reports of contact since the SDF reassumed their advance into the city after the civilians came out. But we still expect there to be remnants of ISIS in the city, and we expect there to be pockets of ISIS fighters there. As far as what happens in Raqqa after ISIS has been cleared and Raqqa is liberated, the Raqqa Civil Council is already established, and they're already eager to begin work to restore essential services. But also a very important note is that we must clear the remnants of all the explosives that have been left in Raqqa throughout this battle. One of the SDF commanders earlier in the campaign, maybe a month ago, said that the fight in Raqqa is more about a fight against IEDs and explosives than it is against ISIS, because that's what the nature of the fight normally was. And in just to really highlight that, the Raqqa Internal Security Force commander, who is in charge of securing Raqqa after the liberation, unfortunately and sadly was killed yesterday when he was walking through Raqqa and triggered an IED, and he had two of his colleagues that were with him. So that goes to show, the work that must go into, first off, clearing all of these explosives and booby traps and mines that have been left behind by ISIS. And the Raqqa Civil Council is also trying to let people know this. In the course of the last month, we know that there have also been about 10 families, while trying to go back to their homes, have also triggered these mines and these explosives. So that is the very real threat. That is what needs to happen first before the Civil Council comes in and restores essential services of electricity, water, sewage, etc. I hope that answers your question. It was pretty long.
In my questions having covered